Welcome back to another episode of D Sports Guru. I'm your host, Fresh. Today we're gonna be just talking some NBA basketball, just briefly, light. Just gonna be giving my thoughts on how I feel about the upcoming final closeout to the season. All-Star break was just last week. Got to witness some of the worst All-Star basketball in history. Some of the worst dunk out contests performances in history. You know, so I'm just gonna give my recap and how I see the season ending and whatnot. So first off, I'm just gonna look at the standings. We're just gonna do a recap of the standings. Um, in the Eastern Conference, we got Boston Celtics at 1 seed currently, Cavaliers 2, Bucks, followed by the Knicks, Sixers, Magic, Pacers, Heat, and play-in Bulls and Hawks to close out the play-in with the Nets, Raptors, Hornets, Wizards, and Pistons, obviously, as the lottery teams in the conference. Then we go over to the Western Conference. You got the Timberwolves still holding down the number 1 seed. Thunder, Clippers, Nuggets to round out the top four. Pelicans, Mavericks, the next two. And then the play-in spots, you got the Kings, Suns, Lakers, and Warriors. Lottery teams in the conference currently, you got the Jazz, Rockets, Grizzlies, Trailblazers, Spurs. So that's where the standings shake out so far. I like to do like a last 10 recap. That's how I look at, how well teams are playing and how teams are performing, if they picking up momentum or whatever the case may be, right? So we'll start off in the East since that's where we started off to begin with. When you look at the Celtics, they 9-1 in their last 10, so that means they got it rolling. It pretty much, if you've been looking at their last 10 throughout the year, they pretty much had it rolling this whole entire season. The addition of Kristaps Porzingis got them in prime position in the conference. It's just about playoff play for them. So Boston Celtics are in a pretty good position right now, you got to say, right? Then when we look at the rest of the conference, you see the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers had it rolling. They 7-3 in their last 10, so that's not like great, but that's somewhat decent. You know what I'm saying? That means your team pretty much knowing how to win games right now, especially knowing how to win games versus the teams they should be winning games with. That's what 7-3 looks like. If you can go 7-3 in your last 10 and you can remain that through the whole season, that's a great season. Bucks 4-6 in their last 10. They reeling right now. They do have a game that's going on currently, and they did win yesterday, I believe. Yeah, yesterday or the day before yesterday versus Minnesota. I'm not a Bucks fan right now, and I'm a Giannis fan and a Dame fan, but I'm not a Bucks fan right now, and I'm not a Giannis fan right now. I just don't like the way how they handled that whole situation with Adrian Griffin. Trust me, I understand sometimes coaches got to get fired. Trust me, I'm a Detroit Pistons fan, and I definitely want to see certain changes when things aren't going the right way. But I just think how they handled that with Adrian Griffin was poor. And hitter background reports about Doc being like some type of advisor and then taking over the job after being an advisor anyway. I just don't really like it. So yeah, I'm not really a Bucks fan right now. I don't think I could root for the Bucks unless they were playing a Western Conference opponent that I just didn't rock with particularly. Like they made it to the finals and they was playing the Lakers. Maybe I root for the Bucks or I'd be in favor to see the Bucks. But pretty much they play any team in the playoffs, I'm gonna be rooting for that team. They make it to the finals and play any team from the Western Conference besides like maybe possibly the Lakers. I'm gonna be rooting for that team, except for Denver. You know, just because I probably root for Dame to get his first ring over Denver repeating. I'm just not a fan of the Bucks right now. So that's just my personal opinion. The Knicks, um, I'm happy the Knicks have been taking wood as of late. They've been 4-6 in their last 10. And the only reason why I say that is because I'm a Piston fan and we traded them Bojan Marjanovic and Alec Burke. And a lot of Piston fans was overrating the value of those guys. So I'm glad to see that the Knicks have been 1-5 since they've got those guys on their roster. So they're 4-6 in the last 10, and them three of those wins came without those guys being there. So uh and one of those wins came against the Sixers. And the Sixers, everybody beating up on the Sixers right now without Joel. So that's the strongest case for Joel being the MVP of the league is if you see what the Sixers are without him. That's the strongest case. But too bad Buddy won't be playing in 65 games, and that makes him not the MVP. But next year he should probably be automatic MVP. Just off of that. Um Magic, they 8-2 in their last 10 games. God damn, they doing pretty good. Magic, I feel like that's a team that nobody really respecting. I'm not even respecting them. I'm glad to see them uh performing good because I like to see young teams start to step up and change the pedigree of the league. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see the Magic doing their thing. Pacers 5-5 in their last 10. Um, I like the Pacers, but you know they just can't really put it together like that. The Heat 7-3 in their last 8. Um, the Heat is always a scary team. They get momentum. I rooted for them last year. I won't be rooting for them this year. Haven't been a fan of Jimmy Butler in a minute, and that's crazy because I was the biggest Jimmy Butler fan. I put him down as one of the most underrated players of all time, which I still think he is, but I'm just not like a huge Jimmy fan these days, and that's crazy coming from somebody who was just like Jimmy, JB last summer. So the Bulls, but the Heat are 7-3 in their last couple 10 games. I feel like Jaime Jaquez has really kind of helped them uh go like to like the next level. The player Jaime Jaquez. Um, so he looking like a good steal with a draft. I wouldn't necessarily call him like a sleeper because if you follow scouting like draft, like if you follow the scouts like right now, I'm scouting NBA draft prospects. If you one of those guys who follow these guys and you not really like surprised by Jaime Jaquez, he was a guy who probably should have went out a year ago, but chose to go back. So he was a guy who had a lot of experience. He was gonna come in with a high floor. That's what you expect out of certain guys for them to come in with higher floors, um, especially if that's what was said about them coming out of college. Like you should kind of expect that. So Jaime Jaquez definitely turning them up. The Bulls 5-5 in their last 10. Kobe White has been a good story for them this season, but nothing to write home about. The Hawks are 5-5 in their last 10. The Hawks are such a disappointed team, man. They should just blow it up, trade everybody away. Um, yeah, just blow it up, trade everybody away. See what y'all can get, man. I would love DeAndre Hunter here with the Pistons. Maybe if y'all could trade him here in the summertime, that would be great for us. The Nets, another just purely mediocre team. They paid Cam Johnson all his money, and the Pistons fans wanted to pay Cam Johnson all his money. And for what? For them to be below average team. They need to just give Cam Thomas the keys to the franchise and let him be the star player. In my opinion, like, man, let Cam Thomas do his thing. And the rest of them guys, let them guys support him. Hornets, 14-42, 4-6 in their last 10. You know, it's not bad, not the worst, so I can't really say anything about them. They've been competing a little bit. Miles Bridges is trying to earn that contract from whether it's from Charlotte or from anyone else. At least he gonna have a leg up to say, hey, look, man, if I go out here on the open market, somebody gonna give me some money. That's what he's been doing for himself this year. Brandon Miller been a great, despite Charlotte getting wood handed to them this year. Brandon Miller been going off, and he was a guy who I predicted to be like a superstar. And I still think he got superstar potential. Just remind me of Paul George, man. Everything about Brandon Miller game remind me of Paul George. And Brandon Miller got a little attitude. He play with a little attitude. I like that. So that's what we got from B. Miller. Wizards, just a shit fest. They 0-10 in their last 10 games. That's how shit fest they are. Pistons, they 2-8 in their last 10. They had some momentum going, and then they had the trade deadline happen. Then Monty Williams is just Monty Williams. Like, I just can't explain it. They lost a tough game last night to the Magic. I like what I'm seeing from them building wise, but goddamn, like Monty Williams is Monty Williams. Take it over to the West Side. Timberwolves, that's my other team. I don't know if y'all see them bobbleheads in the background. Y'all see the front line, my front five, K. I broke the K bobblehead doing a podcast with somebody, you know what I'm saying, by mistake. But K back there laying down. But you see my front line of bobbleheads is the Pistons. And you see the second team back there, man. You see Ant-Man and them boys back there, man. So the T-Wolves is my second team. I don't know if y'all know, but I moved to Minnesota recently, about 2 months ago and some change. So I'm a Minnesotan now. I'm fully behind my T-Wolves. Look at how I'm talking about my T-Wolves. I'm fully behind my T-Wolves. I get the cheer for the young Michael Jordan himself. And so, hey, we 7-3 in our last 10. Like I said, if you could be 7-3 in your last 10 games, then that's showing that you having a great season. And if you can maintain that, which they pretty much been kind of maintaining that. The number one in the West got a half game lead on the Thunder, who are also 7-3 in their last 10. And then you got the Clippers, who are also 7-3 in their last 10 as the top three teams. So those teams kind of pretty much playing good basketball. They're at the top of the league. Clippers had it rolling like through January. Kind of teams been kind of competing against them a little bit better as of late. Nuggets, they 6-4 in their last 10. Not great, but the Nuggets win big games. I feel like the Nuggets is the one team that's just on cruise control. Out of any team in the league that's on cruise control, and I mean like pure, like the Celtics is on cruise control, but they on cruise control like yo, we got some like shit. It's a different type of oomph on their cruise control. Where like the Nuggets is like real life on cruise control. Like they just like, man, wherever we finish, it don't matter. Like that's how I feel like the Nuggets playing it. Zion and them boys been having it rolling. I'm also a huge Zion fan. I ain't even gonna say I'm a Pelican fan. I'm a Zion fan. So my boy Zion, I had it rolling. They 8-2 in their last 10. They lost a tough one the other night. It was about to scrap. The scrap was about to break. Hey, it's been chippy around the NBA. The NBA been chippy the past couple games. It's been a lot of about the fights, close to fights, chokes ups and all type of stuff. So the NBA been getting back chippy. As bad as the basketball is, as bad as the referee and make basketball, the chippiness that kind of been a little bit entertaining. I gotta say that. Pelicans and Mavs, 5-6, 8-2 in their last two games. They really got it going. Watch out for the Mavs, man. Kyrie being back is a difference maker because you already got Luka that's just a fucking stone cold assassin. But him having Kyrie back just to score 20 points, like he's a walking 20 points, like 20 plus every night. Like you're gonna get that from Kyrie. A walking 20 plus gonna fuck some people up. That's what you're gonna get. And just adding that on to a Luka, that got them kind of rolling right now. The Kings, they gotta get their shit together. The Kings 5-5 in their last 10 games. Uh they in that they being battle tested, man. They pushing themselves, digging themselves a hole. Like the momentum is not going up. You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. It's a tough conference, tough games. This is just a tough league in general. Like the NBA is a tough league. Like, to be honest. All right, they 5-5 and sitting at 7. Then you got the Suns, who was rolling for a minute, and I stumbled up with a couple tough losses recently. They 6-4 in their last 10. So still on a positive side, but you know, you want to pick it up. Playoffs getting close. I'm kind of worried about the Suns a little bit. You know what I mean? But I still feel like I trust them more than I trust the Kings and the rest of the bottom of that Western Conference. So I trust the Suns to probably get in that 7th spot and then avoid the play-in. Now, as far as the play-in teams, outside of the Suns and Kings, you got the Lakers. Well, actually, both of those teams would be in the play-in right now. I'm tripping. So 7-4, 8, it wouldn't even matter. Both of those teams would be in the play-in right now between the Suns and the Kings. My bad. Lakers, Lakers, Lakers been fighting back, man. I gotta say that they've been fighting back. Um, at this point in the Western Conference, it's gonna be hard for the Warriors and the Lakers, Suns and Kings. It's gonna be hard for them bottom four teams that finish for them not to at least make the play in. I think Utah and the Rockets and Grizzlies, Trailblazers and Spurs are cemently probably out of it. They not out of it officially, but with the way they've been performing in the last 10, it makes it seem like it. And these teams at the bottom kind of got some momentum with the Warriors and Lakers. The Lakers being 7-3 in their last 10 games, and the Warriors being 8-2 in their last 10 games. The Warriors probably the more scarier team because I feel like they can actually beat anybody. Where the Lakers, I feel like I just don't believe in the Lakers. I'm sorry. Just don't. Uh, as we continue on and we go to the bottom tier, we got the Jazz. The Jazz had put together some stretches of games at one point in the season where they looked like they was going to be competitive and maybe turn into a playoff team, play-in team. It's been totally reversed ever since Lauri Markkanen came back into the lineup. They also had a trade. They traded Simone Fontecchio to the Pistons, a guy who I coveted, wanted the Pistons to absolutely get before any guy in his free agency class. And they got him in the trade deadline. He's a restricted free agent, so they did good on that. And obviously it's been affecting the Jazz. Jazz 2-8 in their last 10. Rockets. I can't say that I don't want to say like I'm ever happy to see a team not succeeding, but I am kind of happy to see the Rockets failing the way they are just because a lot of the Piston fan base want us to go the Rockets route and just spend a bunch of money on a bunch of guys that don't actually move the needle. And as you can see, the Rockets are still 12th in a conference. So they just probably went from not finishing bottom 2 to finishing bottom 4. Whoa. To spend all that money on those players. Jeez. Grizzlies, man, we know what the story is with the Grizzlies. They just been faced with a bad luck season, a lot of injuries going around. They 2-8 in their last 10, so nothing to look for there. They probably tanking, just want to get a good pick. Why not, right? Just add on to what you got. Trailblazers 2-8 in their last 10. Nothing to look for there. Very young team. Um, yeah, just a very young team. I don't know. Maybe in the offseason they start to try to sell off some of their assets and possibly with Anthony Simons. Maybe they get off of him. Um, or maybe they don't. Maybe he's a guy they start building a team around. Maybe they get off Aiton. I don't know. Maybe they can't get off Aiton. They could get off Simons because teams would want a guy like Simons. I don't know where, what team, right? Maybe another young team trying to build themselves up. Um, but Aiton, I'm not so sure about Aiton. All right, then you got the Spurs, bottom of the barrel in the West. We know what Spurs is, man. It's just Wemby, and they learning curve. They probably tanking for a good pick. I can see Nikola Topic as a nice draft guy that's probably gonna go there. With the needs of the bottom teams in the conference, I just see like Nikola Topic going to the Spurs no matter where they pick. If they was to have the number one pick, I feel like they would probably still choose Topic. Even though a lot of people feel like they probably choose Sar. I don't see it. Maybe they do choose Sar just because Wimby's more of a perimeter type of player and they could just plug Sar in the inside and recreate their twin tower fantasy that everybody see with that. I particularly am not a fan of Sar. I could be wrong, but I'm just gonna keep saying that I feel like NBA competitiveness and athleticism is gonna do him in, or it's gonna make him take 2 to 3 years to get to where he need to be an effective player. And who knows if like teams just don't have the patience that they used to have before. So that's my take on that. So that's my outlook of the league in the second half of the season and how I see things shaking out. Uh, if I had to choose who I see as good finals matchups, I don't know, man. It's really tough. It's really tough. Um, I'll just go for the conference finals. I'll say conference finals in the East. I'm gonna go with uh I like the Cavs and Celtics in the conference finals. I mean, the wild card there is the Knicks, just because the Knicks right now is a different team without OG and Anunoby and Julius Randle being injured. So I don't really know what that team is going to really be looking like for real, for real. So they're a wild card. But if I just had to choose right now, and I know it's kind of like lame just to choose the two top teams at a conference, but I like the way these teams look and how they built depth wise and stuff like that. So I'm going with the Celtics and Cavaliers as final matchups. Heat is a wild card, and the Knicks is a wild card. Um, Heat just because they can play teams tough. I'm not saying I believe in them this year. I don't, but the Heat is always a wild card, and the Knicks just because we don't know what's going on with the injuries and stuff like that. Western Conference. Western Conference is the hardest to predict, right? And I really think, I really think, the Thunder is gonna be a tougher team than people realize, because I think Shea Gilgis Alexander is the MVP of the league, and the pressure that he just puts on a team defense, like for throughout the course of a game. I don't know, man. I just something about me just like the Thunder, even though I'm gonna be rooting for Minnesota. I'm gonna be rooting for Minnesota, and I'm gonna be rooting for Zion the hardest, right? But I feel like the Clippers got a championship type of built team. I feel like the Thunder got a championship type of built player in SGA. I feel like the Timberwolves gonna be hungry. So if I just gotta choose, I'm gonna go with Thunder Timberwolves. Oh my God, That's a wishful pick. Honestly, I'm just gonna say that's a wishful pick. Thunder Timberwolves, just because I like to see the young boys, man, take over the league. I like the direction of the young boys taking over, man. Like it's time, bro. It's time. It's time. Like I love legacy and all that stuff. The guys still playing for legacy, and that's cool, man. But I'm ready to see the young boys, man. I'm ready to see the ants. You feel me? So that's my weekly recap of the NBA. I'm gonna start doing this segment once a week. This is gonna be called the last 10 segment, where I just kind of give my thoughts on the week. Maybe some storylines that happened. Maybe if somebody tore it up and went crazy or something like that. But that's the recap for the week. NBA. It's your man's Fresh, D Sports Gurus. I'm your host. Hey man, like, subscribe, comment. Hey, like, subscribe, comment, watch the show, because I'm tired of people getting mad at me for my opinions on the internet, and then they try to come attack me as a podcast. Like, that's why ain't nobody watching your show. That's why, bro. You think why you, bro? I'm just starting the show, man. You think I'm worried about if I got 2,000 people watching my show or not? Man, I'm not that egotistical, bro. I do this show because I love sports and I got a passion for this. If you got a passion for it too, man, just set up a date to come talk some sports with me. That's all you got to do, man. All right. It's your man's Fresh, the sports guru. I'm out.